Hey everybody, it's been a hot minute since we made a video on our channel, and lots has happened since we talked last, so we just wanted to bring a bit of a table talk update and share a bit about what's going on. Hopefully not make it an hour this time. But yeah, basically last time we talked we were in Colorado, we were working on our garden, and I think that was kind of like the last video that we made. We just put one out a couple weeks ago about like making pancakes, but that's obviously very different from the previous video that we, oh my gosh, sorry, had made. I'm drinking a beer right now and it's, whew. But anyway, it's currently February 10th, 2023, and we are in West Des Moines, Iowa. We moved here shortly after Thomas was born, Thomas being the second kid. And we'll have to do a whole birth story video on him at some point. But he was born February 22, and that was almost a year. We're getting ready to celebrate his birthday on the Sunday, in 2 Sundays. We're going to celebrate his first birthday, so that'll be a lot of fun. And a year ago, shortly after he was born, we ended up moving from Colorado to West Des Moines here. Back in June of 2022. Gosh, there's going to be a lot of dates I have to get right. See, this is why we have to keep up with things, because we forget what the dates were. So in June of 2022, we left our home in Colorado and moved to Iowa. Whole slew of reasons, various reasons. We just decided, you know, with having 2 kids now, we would like to be closer to family, and we would like to just be able to enjoy that with the kids and see the family enjoy that. So that's what we did. We came to Iowa literally looking for greener pastures, and here we are in West Des Moines. Anything to add to that? Did I miss anything? Glance over anything? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that. We ended up living with my folks who are here in West Des Moines for probably a good month or so. During the transition, we moved. I was still working remotely at Focus on the Family from Colorado. Working remotely to finish that up and then find work here while we were living with them. At the same time, we were waiting for our house to close in Colorado and searching for a home around here. We were looking all over within the Des Moines, West Des Moines metro area, and even out in the country a little bit. And we ended up at a house here in West Des Moines that's probably like 5 minutes from my parents. Not too far from them at all. It's a nice little neighborhood. You know, homes built in the 80s, mature trees. It's very different, to say the least, from where we came from in Colorado. It's green, there's trees, there's lots of neighbors nearby. All 3 are things that we intentionally did not have, minus the green and the trees. Beer break. Yeah, so that's where we're at. That's where we have been. But recently, I mean, if you're close to us, you know the news. But we have decided to go back to Colorado. I know we're crazy. We're nuts. I own it. I expect it. Yeah, I know we're nuts. But yeah, that came about in October, I think, right around Halloween. We were really talking about it, and it's not. I don't want to come off and give the impression that we were like reluctant in moving here, or that we were like hesitant the whole time. Because we really weren't. I think both of us, like throughout the whole thing, it was like 100%. That's our decision. That's what we're doing. We're going for it. And even just coming here and buying this house, like we envisioned it not long term, but we're like, all right, it's a home to get planted in while the kids are young, and then we can save up and move to the country when the kids are older, and we can continue kind of where we left off with wanting to homestead a little bit. And that was our intention the whole time. And I found a new job at a new company that's kind of been like a dream company for years. It's really checked off everything on my list that I've been looking for years, honestly. Like unlimited PTO, hybrid work from home, doing work that I enjoy, that I love. Like it's literally real. When I say really good, it's really good. So we haven't had any like reason to want to pick up and leave. But I mean, shortly, I mean, in the months following that we've been here, like I said, it was October that we really started talking about this and made the decision. We both kind of felt led, like just this constant, like in the back of our minds, like, hey, like it's time to go back, it's time to return, and we're just like, no way. Like it, because who would ever think of doing that? Like that's nuts, that's crazy. Just like everybody thinks of us, you know, we're crazy. So we both kept like, nope, no way. I think you were always, you would like bring it up sometimes, and I'd be like, nope, we are not doing that, we're staying. And then I would start to be like, oh well, maybe, you know. And then we very carefully and prayerfully worked through kind of those feelings and those inklings to make sure, like, is this leading direction from the Lord, or is it our emotions surfacing within us? So we did a lot of seeking and just talking with one another. We even went and sought counseling to make sure, like, are we thinking about this correctly and logically? And if we choose to stay, these are the reasons why. If we choose to leave, these are the reasons why. We're not running from something. We're not running towards something. We are just weighing, like, what are our options based on where we're at, where we've been, and what we would like for our family moving forward. So all that in a nutshell to say, we decided to go back. I shouldn't say that. I refuse to say we decided to go back. I'm saying we're deciding to move forward and take the next step. Like I say, for a whole slew of reasons, we ended up here. I believe it was for a reason, for a season, and those are all things that we've discussed and talked about, and we know and believe and feel that our time here is complete. So we are moving forward with what we know, carrying with us the experience and what we've learned and what we know, more importantly, about ourselves, what we ultimately desire and what we look for our lives and for our kids and for our family. So that's really it. I mean, we're moving on to Colorado, moving back to where we came from. We have a apartment lined up in Colorado Springs. It's just a little 2-bedroom apartment, which is a little scary because we're currently in a 4-bedroom, technically a 4-bedroom, 1,500 square foot house. Not as big as our last house was. Not that we like big houses, but it's going to be an adjustment for sure because Tom's sleep schedule is, let's say, like shaky at best, and Benjamin does well, but not when he's interrupted. So the boys are going to have to share a room, or Tom's going to be sleeping in our closet. It'll be an adjustment for sure. And being in an apartment with little ones, we've done that before with Ben. You know, it's not glamorous by any means. So that's, I mean, I feel like that should speak to our conviction a little bit about like our intention in going back, is we're willing to go to an 800 square foot apartment with 2 kids, 2 toddlers basically, and just make the best of it. So that is an apartment in Colorado Springs. We move in on March 1st, so we'll be leaving Des Moines on February 28th. I had to think about that for a second. February 28th. So that is like 2.5 weeks from now. So we figured we just want to sit down and make this update before we get there and realize, oh man, now we have like, 3 moves to cover in the last update video. So that's kind of where things are at right now. We're getting ready to launch kind of into the next chapter and working on finishing and closing out this chapter that we're in. And I'm talking a lot. Do you want to say anything? Do you have any thoughts?
No, keep going. You're good. Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking a lot, and you're part of this equation too. It's not just me. Like you're half of the equation.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just say that. Yeah, it was a very prayerful decision, and it's growing us closer to the Lord and growing us closer together as husband and wife through it all. And yeah, we really feel convicted too of like to simplify our lives and get rid of all this stuff and clutter that we've accumulated over the years, that we've moved so many times that now we're just giving it away or selling it because we've moved it around and we've not used it or barely have used it. And yeah, we're just kind of coming to that sense where we don't need to hold on to all this stuff and keep moving it around with us.
Yeah, I think that's a I'm not even gonna try to say a journey of revelation that we've been on. I was gonna think of a different word, but I'm not even gonna try to butcher it. A journey of revelation in that we are just kind of realizing what's like important in life, and that's especially hard in such a consumerist society that we live in. And you know, I'm guilty of it, and everybody is to a degree. You know what I mean? But it was really like our place and our time in Colorado felt like, I don't even want to like say it, but it was like we again, I don't want to say it because this isn't what I was like thinking, but it was kind of the underlying emotion and the feeling at the time was like, wow, we've like accomplished everything. We've got it all. We've got a brand new house on land with a mountain view, and we've got a nice pickup truck and an electric car. You know, it's like, I know that's not how you measure wealth, but you still kind of have that like, oh, like we've accomplished it, and we were 23. You know, we have two beautiful children. It's like, what's next? On to the next adventure. Instead of realizing, kind of like, that was it. Like, that was what we were striving for. Not, it wasn't our purposes in the stuff. It never is. It wasn't like we measure our wealth or our status by our stuff. Obviously not, because we're pretty much going a step above homeless to make this next move. But it was really just a like, you know, what's next? What do we want? And then just like learning like our hearts. What are we truly looking for our lives and for our family? What does that look like? And so we're like, okay, we know how important family is, and we know how much we want that to matter to our kids and their life. Let's go. And for that sake, and like, we really felt called at the time. Like, truthfully, it's easy to look back and say like, oh, I made the decision out of like emotional haste or regret, or we were postpartum. Like, those things may be true, but also recognizing like at the time we again made the decision prayerfully. You know, obviously it's like, if you knew what you know now, you wouldn't make the same decisions you would make. But I tend to disagree with that a little bit, because we truly felt led that way. Like, we discovered and we're growing and learning more about just minimalism, specifically concepts around like biblical minimalism. And a lot of people hear that word and they think like, oh, freaky cult. But it's not about like sitting in an empty room cross-legged playing a flute. It's not what we're doing. Not saying there may be value in that, but I have no intention of doing that. No, it's just about like eliminating the things that are distractions, because things are things. Things are tools. They're neither good nor bad. It's what you do with them. It's what kind of, I just like, what kind of like energy does it bring into your house, into your life? You know, a box of tissues is not inherently evil. It's things like that. 20 boxes of tissues are good to have stocked up. 100 boxes of tissues stocked up, that might be an issue. I say tissues because I'm looking at a box of tissues behind the camera. But you get my point. It's all about like really questioning like, what? Like, how did we acquire this? Why do we have this? We even sold our TV. We had a big 65-inch TV that I was rather fond of, but we sold it because, number one, I don't want to pay to move it. Number two, I can just, like, for what I sold it for, I could buy a cheaper, smaller one and actually make money off of it, and, you know, and we'll get the same value out of that, if not more value, by being able to not watch TV as much. So it's all things like that. And our move here to Iowa, we really felt convicted to, like, give that up, because, like I say, I feel like it was such a heart condition where we were, like, we feel like we kind of made it, and we're like, man, this is it. Like, we're at the top. What's left? Oh, we want this for our kids. Okay, let's do that. And it was an honorable and admirable thing, I believe, at the time, to like give all of that up. And now we're kind of like, okay, we've learned a lot about ourselves and what's most important to us in this life, and what kind of intentionality do we want to have for our kids, and what's best for us individually and for our marriage, so that we can show up as our best selves for our kids. And that's just really what we're learning and figuring out is, it's just a balance. We're learning that balance. You put we're trying to find that selfless balance, but also take care of ourselves. You know, it's the old put your own oxygen mask on before you can help somebody else. Up until, I mean, recently it was always, or at least, you know, like make the decision for somebody else because this is the best thing for them. When like it happens and then you're the one that's suffering, you're like, well, I'm hurting so much that I can't help you anymore now. So it's just that balance that we're trying to find. And you know, I think what helped us throughout, you know, make the decision is to understand like we're still pretty young. You're going to be 25 in a week and a half. You know, I'm 25. It's like it's easy to get caught up in thinking like we're 35, 40 years old because a lot of people around us are, a lot of our, I don't want to say peers, but you know, just people we know, like people around us are. So it's easy to think like, oh, you can't start over. It's like, well, yeah, you can. Like, who says you can't? Stuff is stuff. Money is money. It will return. Work hard. Like, the world carries on. So all that to say, yeah, we're getting rid of a lot of things, and we kind of wanted to show you a little bit around the house as far as like just visually wrap your mind around kind of this is our life at the moment, and you can't see a whole lot in frame. I'll have to walk it around and show you, but basically we're planning on fitting all of our stuff in the truck, the van, and then 2 trailers. So the truck has a ladder rack on it, and that's going to contain a lot of stuff tied in. We're getting a 6x12 cargo trailer for the truck. All the furniture will go in that, plus boxes. And then Sarah's van has a rack on top. That'll be filled with stuff inside. And then we're getting like a little 5x8 trailer for the van. And that's it. If it's left, and you know, if we can't pack it, then maybe we'll store it if it's absolutely essential. But we're really forcing ourselves to look at like what is essential. Like, you know, all of our clothes are only what fits in the dressers and like underneath the bed in the drawers, and like that's it. We don't have closets full of clothes. We only have a couple coats, like 2 pairs of shoes. You know, my tools are like really what fits in my toolbox, and then like 2 tote bins. That's it. And then bikes. Like, it is bare bones minimum, and it's been a lot because I mean, like I said, we decided in October to move, and here we are in February. We're still purging and downsizing. It's been like 4 or 5 months of just constant like Facebook Marketplace and Goodwill runs. And you need that time because every move we've done in the past has been like, we're moving, and 3 weeks to a month later, we're like on the road, we're packed up, we're gone. You never have the time to like live through a couple months and a couple different seasons. It's like you need winter, you need fall, you need spring to see if you're going to use this and need it. And so we're really just taking that time to purge things, and we're still getting rid of things, and we're kind of coming down to the wire where we're like, we're just going to have to like just Goodwill this thing or give it away. But I mean, that's kind of where we're at with the move. And I know I'm rambling a lot. I'm watching my timer. It's 20 minutes. I'm trying not to make this long. But that's really where we're at with everything right now, in as much of a nutshell as I can wrap it in. That's where we're at. That's where we're going. It's bittersweet for sure because we are leaving family behind, and we're even leaving closer proximity to your family. Like, it's an easier drive than Colorado is, and so there's absolutely like mourning in that, and there's grieving. And when we first came to the decision, before we told anybody, we had so much just like mourning and grieving of like, how could we do this? How, like, is this right of us? Is this good for us? You know, all of those emotions and feelings, but making the decision and staying firm in that, and believing just in one another and supporting one another, and just making that decision for ourselves and for our family. So all that to say, anything to add? I've been talking a lot, I'm sorry.
That's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
We can wrap it up.
Wrap it up. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate watching the channel and taking an interest, and we do want to put more out there. We have lots of content planned, everything from like Tommy's got crazy allergies, so we're going to be doing stuff all around that and sharing our journey in that, even to like financial planning and just sharing things we've learned and figuring out kind of on this journey of life that we're on. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, anything else? All right, I've asked enough times. But all right, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe if you're not already. Like, comment, share the video, and just connect with us, engage with us. If you know us personally, you know how to do that already. If not, just comment below and get in touch or whatever. So anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.